At my wedding, my sister walked up smiling and placed a drink in front of me. Before I could take a sip, my phone buzzed. My name is Rachel Morgan. I was 30, a brand manager, and I had spent most of my life being called the reasonable daughter. My younger sister, Tessa, never had that problem. If Tessa was upset, everyone adjusted. If I was upset, I was told to grow up. When I got engaged to Noah, her jealousy became impossible to ignore. She didn't congratulate me first. She asked how expensive the venue was. Then she asked whether Noah's parents really knew important people. A month later, she demanded to be part of the wedding party. "This wedding is probably the biggest social event our family will ever have," she told me. "You can at least let me get something out of it." That sentence should have been enough. Instead, my parents pressured me until I gave her a role. After that, Tessa treated my wedding like her personal photo shoot. She complained about her dress, demanded her own makeup appointment, and even asked the photographer to take solo portraits of her before the ceremony. I kept quiet. I wanted one peaceful day. Then the reception began. About an hour after dinner, I stepped out to fix my makeup. When I returned, Tessa was beside my chair holding a fresh cocktail. "I got this for you," she said. "You've barely had anything tonight." Before I reached for it, I noticed my best friend Lena across the ballroom. She looked terrified. My phone vibrated. I opened her message beneath the table. It was a photo. Tessa stood near the bar with my drink in one hand, while pouring liquid from a tiny dropper bottle with the other. Below it, Lena had written, "I took this for proof. Drink it." My stomach turned. I looked up. Tessa was watching me, waiting. She thought I had no idea. I could have confronted her right there. I could have thrown the drink away. Instead, I wrapped my fingers around the glass and smiled. Because this time, I wasn't going to save Tessa from what happened next. I kept smiling at Tessa, but I never lifted the glass to my lips. My first instinct was to show Noah the photograph and expose her immediately. Then I stopped myself. The picture proved Tessa had put something in my drink. It didn't prove what the liquid was or why she had done it. And I knew my family. Tessa would cry. My mother would call it a misunderstanding. Somehow I would become the cruel sister who ruined the wedding over nothing. Not this time. Under the table, I texted Lena. "Say anything yet. Keep recording." Then I caught the attention of Marcus, our reception manager. When Tessa turned to talk to another bridesmaid, I quietly handed him the cocktail. "Please don't throw this away," I whispered. "Seal it and keep it somewhere safe." His expression changed when he saw my face. He nodded and disappeared with it. A server placed a fresh glass of sparkling water in front of me. Tessa never noticed. For the next 10 minutes, I gave her exactly what she wanted to see. I rubbed my temple. I answered Noah a little slower. Once, I deliberately grabbed the edge of the table as if the room had shifted. Tessa watched every movement, and each time I looked weaker, she looked happier. Finally, she leaned close. "Feeling okay?" "A little strange," I whispered. Her smile almost appeared before she forced it away. "You're probably just overwhelmed." That was when I understood something worse. She wasn't surprised. She was checking whether whatever she had put in my drink was working. Then the DJ lowered the music. Tessa suddenly stood. She picked up the wireless microphone without being invited. "I actually have a special surprise for my sister," she announced. Nearly 200 guests turned toward us. I looked at Lena. Her phone was already recording. Tessa thought she was about to humiliate me. She had no idea. She was walking straight into the evidence I needed. Tessa lifted the microphone like she had been waiting all night for this moment. What she didn't know was that, while she had been distracted earlier, Marcus replaced the tampered cocktail with a fresh drink in the same kind of glass. So when Tessa looked back and saw me holding it, she assumed she had simply missed me taking a sip. Now she thought whatever she had added was working. "I think we should hear from the bride," she announced. A few guests laughed. My stomach tightened. This wasn't a toast. It was a setup. Tessa walked toward me and held out the microphone. "Rachel, why don't you tell everyone how you're feeling?" Her words sounded innocent, but I knew exactly what she was hoping for. Confusion, slurred words. Maybe a bride embarrassing herself in front of Noah's entire family. I slowly stood. Then I deliberately swayed. Tessa grabbed my arm. "Oh, careful," she said loudly enough for nearby tables to hear. Noah immediately moved toward me. I touched his hand and gave him a small look. "Trust me." Then I took the microphone. "I'm fine," I said. My voice was perfectly clear. Tessa's smile disappeared for half a second. I looked directly at her. "You seem surprised." "I'm not." "Then why have you been watching me ever since you brought me that drink?" The ballroom became quiet. Tessa's face tightened. Before she could answer, my mother stepped forward. "Rachel, please, this is your wedding, don't start a scene." There it was, exactly what I knew would happen. I reached into my clutch. "I'm not starting anything." I held up my phone. "Tessa started this near the bar." Her eyes dropped to the screen. For the first time that evening, she looked scared. But I didn't show everyone the photograph. Not yet. I wanted Tessa to choose her story before she knew what I could prove. She looked around at the guests, then gave a nervous laugh. "I have no idea what Rachel is talking about. I never touched her drink." Perfect. Because now nearly 200 people had heard her lie, and I had a photograph that proved it. I never touched her drink. Tessa had barely finished the sentence when I turned my phone toward the room. "Then explain this." Lena's photograph filled the screen. Tessa stood near the bar with my cocktail in one hand, pouring liquid from a tiny dropper bottle with the other. The guests nearest us went silent. Noah stared at the photo, then at my sister. "Tessa." Her face changed. "That's not what it looks like." "What does it look like?" I asked. She swallowed. "It was just something to help Rachel relax. She'd been stressed all day." I almost laughed. 30 seconds earlier, she had never touched my drink. Now she was admitting she had put something in it. "So which story are we supposed to believe?" My mother stepped forward. "She was probably trying to help." Noah turned toward her. "By secretly putting something in my wife's cocktail." My mother had no answer. Tessa's voice sharpened. "It wasn't dangerous. Everyone needs to stop acting like I poisoned her." I looked directly at her. "How do you know it wasn't dangerous?" Tessa froze. "You seem pretty certain about what was inside that bottle." Before she could answer, Marcus approached carrying a sealed container, the original cocktail. "I had the staff preserve it," I said. Tessa stared at it. Her face went pale. "Rachel, please, we can talk privately." "No." "You're humiliating me. I haven't accused you of anything you haven't already admitted." Then Lena stepped forward, still holding her phone. "There's more." Tessa spun toward her. "Lena, don't." Too fast, too frightened. I looked at my friend. "What did you hear?" Lena unlocked her phone. "Before Tessa brought you that drink, she was talking to someone beside the service hallway." Tessa moved toward her. "No, turn that off." Lena pressed play. And the first sentence coming through that phone explained exactly what Tessa had planned to make 200 people believe about me. Lena pressed play. Tessa's voice came through the phone first. "Just wait until Rachel tries to give a speech. Noah's family is going to think she can't even stay sober at her own wedding." One of the bridesmaids beside her laughed. Then Tessa added, "She always gets to be the perfect one. Tonight, they're finally going to see what she's really like." The ballroom went silent. So that was her plan. She didn't just want me dizzy. She wanted nearly 200 people, including Noah's family, to believe I was drunk, unstable, and humiliating myself at my own reception. My mother stared at Tessa. For once, she had nothing to say. Noah stepped beside me. "You planned all of this?" Tessa's eyes filled with tears. I was angry. I wasn't thinking. I shook my head. "You thought enough to bring a bottle, alter my drink, watch me for symptoms, and then put a microphone in my hand." She had no answer. Noah looked toward Marcus. "Please get security." My mother finally whispered, "Rachel, we can handle this privately." I looked at her. She wanted my humiliation to be public. The truth can be public too. Security escorted Tessa from the ballroom, and I refused to let her take anything else from me. I danced with Noah. I laughed with our friends. We finished our wedding surrounded by the people who actually wanted us happy. The next day, the preserved cocktail was turned over for testing. The report later confirmed it contained a concentrated sedating sleep aid. That was the moment every last excuse disappeared. My mother still sent messages asking me to forgive Tessa because family makes mistakes. I didn't respond. For 30 years, I had been expected to keep the peace by absorbing whatever Tessa did. At my wedding, that ended. The photograph stayed on my phone. The test report stayed in a folder. But the thing I remembered most was Tessa's face when she realized I was completely sober. For once, she wasn't controlling the story. I was, and I never handed it back. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.